Welcome back, seventh graders. It's week 7. It's our first lesson of week 7. We're on textbook page 305 only today, and we are still in topic 6, lesson 2. Ready? Here we go. All right, so the goal of today is to learn about geothermal energy and bioenergy. If you don't know what those are, don't worry, you will by the end of the lesson. But they are both types of alternative energy. And remember, alternative energy is another type of energy we can use that isn't fossil fuels and aren't non-renewable. So alternative energy is renewable, meaning that we can use it again, we can plant it again, we can recycle it. All right, let's start off with a quiz as per usual. Which is not a type of alternative energy we learned about last week? Is it A, solar energy, B, wind energy, C, coal, or D, hydroelectric energy? So like I said in the last slide, we're looking for something that is non-renewable that we will eventually run out of because alternative energy is renewable. So on that note, solar energy is renewable, so I'm going to get rid of that right away. I'm also going to get rid of wind energy because we're never going to run out of the wind. And I don't think I counted down, so I'll count down now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Correct answer is coal because we will eventually run out of coal. Just a reminder, hydroelectric energy is getting energy from water. So before we start learning about our 2 new types of alternative energy, I want to know, do you know what's inside Earth? Like if I cut it open, I would see layers like a cake. And hey, look at that. Someone made a Earth cake. And if I cut inside and have a delicious piece of cake, I can see those layers. I've got a red layer, I've got a yellow layer, and I have a white layer inside. Oh, and hey, look at this. Here's a diagram of Earth and the same thing. When I cut it in half, I can see those different layers. So I'm going to focus on the innermost layer. This is called the core, and the core is really, really hot. Okay, there's the core. And it's so hot that it's going to heat up the other layers of the Earth. So that heat will travel to the other layers. And what we actually can do is we can use this heat as energy, and this is called geothermal energy. Geo, think of like geography, it means about the earth, and thermal is heat. All right, so how are we going to use this geothermal energy to help us in our daily lives? Well, we can use it on a small scale with houses, and we can also use it in a much bigger scale with energy plants. So let's focus with houses. So we can actually use geothermal energy to warm or cool houses. So let's focus in the winter. So in the winter, I have my house, which is much colder than the underground below that. So if I'm using geothermal energy, I can actually go into the earth and I can use the heat in the earth to warm up my house. So when the outside air is colder than the underground, geothermal energy will be used to keep the house warm. The opposite is going to happen in the summer. In the summer, I'm going to have the temperature inside my house much hotter than below ground. So the outside air will be warmer than the underground. I'm going to tap into that heat underground, or not really heat, the temperature underground, and I'm going to use that to cool my house. Okay? So on a smaller scale, we can use geothermal energy as basically like air conditioning and heating. On a bigger scale, we can use energy plants. And that's going to be much bigger than houses. And we can actually use that underground heat to produce electricity. Again, you still kind of have to dig in the earth in order to get that energy underneath. Okay, just like any other alternative energy source we learned about, there are going to be pros and there's going to be cons. Let's be positive. Let's start with the pro. Geothermal energy is a renewable resource. The core isn't going to lose heat, so we can keep using it. It makes less pollution because we're not burning anything and putting it into the atmosphere. And over time, you can save a lot of money by using this energy source versus other energy sources. All right, let's move over to the cons, the negatives, the bad stuff. You need to drill underground in order to access this. It's not really easy to find drill spots. It's not like they're evenly placed throughout Earth. It's very, very expensive to start. So if you are a city or a country that doesn't have a lot of money, it's going to be really hard to start these drills to find spots for geothermal energy. All right, let's move on to our second alternative energy, which is bioenergy. Remember that bio means living, like biotic factors in an ecosystem meant living things in an ecosystem. So if you split up that word, now you know what bio means. So bioenergy equals energy from living things. So we can do this on a simple scale, and maybe you've done this in your own life. We can use plant matter like wood, corn husks, and coconuts for fire, to get energy, to cook, to warm up our house. So here is a woman, and she is collecting the hair off a coconut. If you've ever looked close at a coconut, it's kind of hairy, and you can pull that hair off, and it makes a really good fire starter. Or what you can do is you can use the shell or husk of a coconut to just produce fire, to again cook, to maybe use energy or from heat to warm up your house. So that's really simple. On a more complex side of it, we can use corn, sugarcane, and leftover cooking oil to make fuel for cars. So maybe if you've ever been at a restaurant or you have family that works at a restaurant, you might see them trying to reuse the cooking oil, and they can use that to help make gas. If you ever see ethanol at the gas pump, that is something that we get from corn, and we can use it for fuel. Some people really, really don't like to put it in their car. I don't really care, but I'm not much of a car person. So yeah, but if you see that, if you see ethanol, now you know it comes from corn. All right, one more time. Pros and cons of bioenergy. Pros are it's renewable resource. And we can use parts of plants that we are already using. So for example, corn. We make so much corn. We make corn to feed our cows that we eat a lot of. We make corn to make corn syrup, which is sweet, and we use it to flavor our drinks like pop. All right, cons are it can actually take more energy to make the bioenergy than the bioenergy can give when being used. Meaning, if we're going to grow corn, we're going to use way more energy and resources to actually grow the corn. Think about growing things. You need water, you might need fertilizer, you need sunlight, and we're not going to get that energy back when we burn the corn. Also, we're burning stuff, so it produces as much pollution as using fossil fuels, and that kind of defeats the purpose of using alternative energy because we want to stop burning things and put less carbon dioxide into our atmosphere. All right, this is the end. Let's end with a little mini quiz. Using the heat from the underground of Earth to produce energy is called A, coal energy, B, geothermal energy, C, bioenergy, or D, hydroelectric energy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get rid of some answers. I'm going to get rid of bioenergy because we just learned that bioenergy is energy from living things like plant parts. I'm also going to get rid of coal energy because although coal comes from the underground, we have to take it out and burn it. We're not getting the heat from the underground. So correct answer is geothermal energy. Remember, geo means earth. And hydroelectric energy is getting energy from water. All right, guys, that is it for today. I will see you back here later.